Wait, do you already have a task for me? I'm still working on this project.
You should be thankful that you have work. Thinkings concurrently is professional. I care of it. Started that's com started both.
And that, Benjamin, the section chief, walked away from my desk. My name is Owen Miller. At the time, I was an IT engineer in my 3rd year with the company. It's hard to leave the office on time for this job. No matter how hard I tried, one project after another came in. Anyway, it was an annoyance because Benjamin accepted everything that was presented to him, and he had no idea about the schedule or progress of the engineers in charge. The amount of work that had to be completed in a single day was overwhelming. The only time I was able to leave work on time was when I first started with the company. I was fortunate that Benjamin was gone on business that day, 2 years ago. I decided to go out with my colleagues. Our first stop was a bowling alley. We hit it off with some female office workers who were playing in the next lane and went to a bar. This was how I met my wife, Nora. Nora and I got married about a year after we met. My work was as busy as ever, and I was always working overtime every day. Thus, on my days off, Nora and I would go to the movies, go out to eat, and enjoy shopping at the mall. Nora began to suffer from back pain and abdominal pain frequently. Procedures, chiropractic therapy, and an osteopathic clinic were all tried, but they didn't appear to help much. She was struck not just with back discomfort, but also with acute abdomen agony one night. I thought that was too unusual, so I called an ambulance and went to the emergency hospital in the middle of the night. My assumption that it was acute appendicitis was entirely incorrect. The doctor in the emergency room was an internal medicine specialist, but he looked me in the eyes and said,
Mr. Miller, please see a gynecologist as soon as possible.
I wondered if it was a gynecological disease. Nora yearned for children, but I was concerned about her well-being. My concern rose, but all I wanted was for Nora to recover. With this in mind, I took the next day off from work to accompany Nora to a large hospital's gynecology department. Nora's disease was uterine cancer. It was advanced and had spread to her large intestine. I blamed myself. Nora had been experiencing back pain for 6 months. Why hadn't I taken her to the hospital earlier? She could have had surgery if it had been discovered earlier. She was given 3 months to live. I immediately consulted with Benjamin and the department head. My wish was to go home on time as much as possible. I begged my colleagues in the same department and asked them for a favor. All of my coworkers were willing to cooperate as much as possible. The next 3 months passed quickly until the day Nora was gone. To be honest, I couldn't feel it. I couldn't even look back on the past. After the funeral, I didn't feel like doing anything and didn't want to go outside. I couldn't even bring myself to go to work. But when I remembered my colleagues who had been working with me, I felt I needed to get back to work. I went to work for the first time in 2 weeks. After my lunch break, I was called into the conference room. In the conference room, the department head and Benjamin were sitting together with bitter looks on their faces. Vertically, I understand that you have been through a lot. However, we have tons of work to do. You've been leaving the office on time for the past 3 months and have taken 2 weeks off, which is quite unacceptable. Benjamin said sarcastically, Yes, I regret for any inconvenience this has caused everyone in the same department.
Yes, I regret any inconvenience this has caused everyone in the same department.
Although I said that inside, I was sure that I hadn't upset Benjamin, who wasn't participating in the computer program. Now the department head spoke up.
You don't really want to be in a busy department, do you? There's a post in the regional office just now, so you can go there next week.
I had previously heard from a senior colleague that if you repeatedly take paid holidays or refuse to work overtime, you will be demoted. With Nora gone, I had a gaping hole in my heart, and I didn't care where I worked anymore. I didn't even want to work anymore, and I was so depressed that I didn't have the motivation to do anything.
I understand.
I simply replied and returned to my seat. After a while, I moved. The city's a provincial city in the middle of nowhere.
I'm young, and now I'm demoted.
I muttered to myself as I got off the train and looked at the scenery spread out before me. Then, in the blink of an eye, a week had passed since my transfer. For better or worse, the company to which I was transferred was a place where I had plenty of time to spare when it came to work. There was almost no need for overtime work, and I could work at my own pace. For change, I was working on simple programs in a coffee shop one day. After a while, a drop of water fell on the table I was using. It was raining outside. For a moment, I wondered if it was a leak. I looked up to see a flashy girl with brown hair and red and blue highlights. She was soaking wet from head to toe and peeking at my computer. I was about to put the laptop away, but the girl panicked. Wait. She spoke to me. You work on computers, right? Can I take a look at it? I'm kind of interested in it. She started to chat with me. Just with that, I called the staff of the coffee shop. Excuse me, can I borrow a towel for this girl? The girl bowed her head and talked while wiping her wet hair and clothes with the towel provided by the staff.
Thank you for borrowing a towel for me. After a time, for a pod.
This girl looked kind of shallow, but she knew how to thank others. I was a little surprised at the difference between her appearance and her words. Then I had a chat with her over a cup of hot coffee. She was a junior at a nearby public high school, and her name was Mila. Mila had just entered her junior year this summer and was wondering about her future career.
It's getting. I can use drawers for now, so. That's why I can't go to university, but I want to choose a job carefully.
But it just didn't feel right.
Then I considered it. From now on, computers will be essential for work.
She didn't own a computer, but she became interested in them after learning a few in school. Certainly, a computer would be essential to increase her employment options. I told Mila, I'm working at this coffee shop this week, so stop by again if you need anything. She came to the coffee shop the next day and the day after that. I told her my last name, and she started calling me by my name.
Oh, and what is it that you're always doing on your computer? Bus removed your cut your how? The computer screen is filled with alphabet letters, and it appears to be some kind of spell.
Oh, it's called programming. It's used to make websites and blog sites. She was really excited when I told her I was making a website out of various letters, numbers, and symbols. Do you have a computer at home? When I asked her, she said no. Mila stated she was going to study, and every day she copied what was on my computer screen into her notepad. After about a month of this, I made a suggestion to Mila. It's true that copying to a notebook is a good way to learn, but it's even better to actually touch the computer and learn from it. Our company has a laptop computer that is scheduled for disposal. Why don't you try learning by using it? Mila's eyes twinkled, and she smiled.
Are you kidding me? I can mount in the ear. It's done. Are you sure I can have it?
She looked so happy. Sure, it's something we're going to dispose of anyway. But it's already been leased and used for 3 years, so it doesn't perform that well. I explained. Okay, I don't care. I'm just grateful to have one. And a few days later, I handed the computer to Mila.
Yeah, right, Mrs. Wise Commerce's make your must propose. She jumped up and down with joy. Next day, Mila's questioning began.
She purchased a textbook and had diligently studied it. She had a notebook full of questions and asked them to me one at a time. Thanks to her efforts, she was able to set up a small website 6 months later.
But in the job hunting, people can see this as my work.
With that, she smiled happily. When the recruitment exam was coming up in a few days, Mila dyed her hair completely black. Mila, you look like a serious person.
It's just fine now. If I get a job, I'm gonna break me. I will change it again. He said this while pouting.
Good luck with the exam. Mila smiled and gave a peace sign with her right hand.
I'll do my best. Peace out. 2 weeks later, us turbine or trier. I was at my usual coffee shop when Mila came into the store. Owen listened to me. I got accepted. Ours were mushy dust. Mila happily reported with a big smile on her face. And Shay.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. When I told her that, she started to cry while smiling at the same time.
Thank you. And Squishroom. Oh, and Stuarter. It's thanks to you that I was accepted at the company of my first choice. As really, Thank you so much. Come right back.
Seeing your face made me happy too. Mila was a rather shy girl. Seeing her face made me happy too. Mila was a rather mysterious girl to me, but I couldn't help but like her. She walked in and filled the void created by Nora's departure. Before I realized it, I I was reminded that I had spent more time on Mila's studies than I had on Nora's recollections.
No, Mila. I'm the one who should thank you. Why don't we go out for dinner next Sunday to celebrate?
When I asked her,
Yes! G's Cruster and Borders and Brachiro. Just
she was very happy. Time seemed to pass in the blink of an eye. Good morning. Staff from the Human Resources Department greeted everyone in a cheerful voice, and the morning meeting began. Today, I would like to introduce the new employees who will be working with us this year. Hey everyone, please line up over here. He beckoned the people in the back and called them in front of everyone.
Vinny,
I almost dropped the papers from my hands when I saw those 3 new employees this year. There were 2 male and 1 female new employees. The only female employee was Mila. Mila made a tiny piece with her right hand as she saw my face. Mila had, after all, joined the IT department where I work.
good morning!
what the heck? You surprised me? I heard a new employee was coming, and I was wondering if you started work today at the company where you got the job offer to. I figured I'd check in with you after a while. Once you'd gotten used to the job, I was concerned about you.
When I said that,
Did not see that come. A bas crushable esteem.
she laughed.
Well, I'm going to train you hard. Get ready.
When I told her so, Mila stuck out her tongue.
Just be gentle with me.
With that, she smiled. My heart warmed as I watched her smile, as it always does. I'm not sure if I'm in love with Mila, who's 7 years my junior, but I'm sure she's a cute person for me right now. I was taken aback to see Mila's face on the first day of the new fiscal year, but I now have a goal. I wanted to train this adorable junior coworker to be a full-fledged programmer. I want to train this adorable junior coworker to be a full-fledged programmer. But shouldn't my life, which had previously been just a daily routine of performing the work in front of me, now has a feeling of meaning, a day. I went home and talked to Nora through her photograph. I'm sure you were concerned about me, given that I hadn't had any energy since you left, but after moving to this small town, meeting Mila, and teaching her how to use a computer on a daily basis, I feel much better. Oh, are you jealous of us by any chance? I'm going to do my best to be a dependable senior colleague for her, and I want you to watch me. Don't worry, I'll keep taking strong steps forward. I promised Nora that in my heart. Nora seemed to be smiling at me in the picture. Sure, I'll be there for you. I believe she said so.